Hi, I'm Supermoon Tarot, and today we are going to be answering the question, what you need to hear right now. This is my end-all, be-all, favorite thing to experience in life. It just seems that you hear something at the right time, in the right combination of words that just click for you. It can help you have an epiphany, to work out an idea, to overcome some sort of like sadness or anxiety you're going through, or maybe, this is just the thing that helps you get out of a rut that you just couldn't, or a bad cycle you just couldn't get out of. Whatever it is that comes through, we're going to be talking about it today. Now, I wanted to give you a quick background story on these lovely ladies. So my twin flame, who's actually currently sleeping over there right now, when I told him I was going to be doing this, he was like, oh, you should draw ears. It's like a big inside joke between the two of us. And fun fact, drawing a singular ear is the weirdest looking thing. So I was like, I'm not going that with. I'll do this. But the thing that's funny about the ear that I wanted to kind of let you in on, a little inside joke between me and him, was when we were first dating, he had just gotten an iPhone and I had an Android at the time. So I couldn't receive emojis. Like when emojis would come through, they would just be like boxes and weird squiggles and shapes. But the one singular emoji that could come through was an ear. I don't know why, but even when I eventually got an iPhone, him and I to this day are obsessed with sending ears to each other. It's just like a really weird little like cute moment of connection between us. So if you're thinking of somebody you love, friendship or romance, send them an ear. Let them know you're here. And you'll hear that you're here. Okay, I'll stop. Okay, so we've got our 4 groups here. Pick whatever resonates with you most. As you can see by the various numbers, I'm going to give you a second to choose. And once you've picked the group, you can go down to the description where the timestamps are marked for each group below. And let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's find out what you need to hear right now. Your oracle card is Gentle Gardener Upright. Okay, I feel like I already know what this is about, but obviously we're going to pull tarot cards to get a better context. Okay, maybe I'm right. Queen of Wands in reverse. Okay, Judgment in reverse. Yeah, I'm seeing a pattern. High Priestess in reverse. The Devil upright. And your last card is the World upright. Very, very, very positive. Okay, cool. So yeah, all of these cards are pretty much saying the same concept or building off the same idea, but either way, you need to hear every side and angle of it so it can click with you best. It can make sense to you fully. So let's go into that. Gentle Gardener is our main, big clue, our best advice given throughout the spread. It talks about the idea of manifestation, but this is not the idea of manifestation where it's about like, oh, it's the right time to manifest, and did you know you can manifest, and you're about to receive what you manifested. This is about letting you know and reminding you that more than affirmations, it's the energies we put out there as well that can create the world around us. Sometimes this is coming from like your spirit guides or the universe, whatever you believe in, that are kind of coming into your life and going, hey, you might not know this, but you can change your situation for the better. But it takes a little bit of self-awareness, diving deep into your subconscious. We're going to be talking about the shadow self, and if you don't know what that is, I will be going into that in the Devil, but we'll get to that. Now, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm feeling so winded and like panic attacky. Like I'm feeling intense anxiety from some of you guys right now. Sorry if I sound out of breath, that's why. I'm just like picking that up right now. So Queen of Wands in reverse is somebody who wants to reinvent themselves. think of this in difference of the death card. The death card is all about rebirth, like a natural ending and often like a big life change and lessons to be learned. The Queen of Wands is it's her own choice. She decided it actively. She didn't need something to happen to make it happen. She's self-aware and she's making the changes herself to make the version of herself she'd like to be. And this is often coming from a perspective of like, let's say you're struggling with like a lot of fear. So she'd go, I don't like that I'm so fearful, so I'm going to be brave, and putting that and attention into that. And she's finding the ability to reinvent herself by looking at the energies she's putting out there. She's starting to be more aware of how she's interacting and thinking of things and expressing herself, even on a subconscious level, in order to become that version of herself she'd like to be. Now, in both the Devil card and the Judgment card, we get this predominant throat chakra situation going on, letting me know that the main thing you'd like to reinvent yourself in the energy situation, it looks like you're holding back a lot of personal opinions and just like what you would really like to say when it comes to regularly interacting with people. This can be anything, obviously, from coworkers to your boss to your love interest, whatever it is. It just feels like you're holding yourself back. And the Judgment card is not only a card that talks about the idea of self-doubt, like feeling that what you have to offer isn't enough, and you're like, oh, I'm not good enough, why would anyone want to hear what I have to say? These aren't solid enough points. But this is about, when you get the Judgment card, this is a card saying, actually, no, in fact, what you have to say is very important. It's very important to yourself that not only what you have to say, your opinion, but the act of expressing yourself is super pinnacle to who you are right now and what you need to experience. And by not, speaking up, by not letting yourself be heard, no matter the consequences of what other people think, and we'll talk about that again in the Judgment, in the Devil card and the High Priestess card in reverse, that you kind of, that's your like, I'm tongue tied, sorry. The anxiety's really getting to me. Hold on, let me get my quote together for a second. Okay. Sometimes we need to experience the experience to feel like a whole version of ourselves. It's not always the ending, it's the journey. That's how I want to put it. Now, the High Priestess card is somebody who is definitely, so I can already see here, this is somebody who definitely is pulling themselves out from being involved with others, maybe doesn't think they're good enough to be invited, just definitely being quiet. And a big one is, think of it this way. The High Priestess card, when she's upright, she is somebody who is so confident and believes so much in what she, and this is without ego, it's just more like a gut feeling, intuition thing. She's so sure of whatever her stance is on something that even if everyone else is like, you're wrong, she won't go with the group mentality. She's that confident and independent as a person. So in reverse, this is somebody who does not feel confident in what they have to, do. They're afraid of not going with the grain, so to speak. And then we get to the Devil card. The Devil card here, like we talked about, is again representing the throat chakra here. But as you notice, the Devil card is kind of not the one being held in chains, but holding the other people in chains. Think of it this way. It's kind of like, on one hand, you do feel imprisoned by being unable to say these emotions and whatever you have to say opinion-wise, but it also feels like the more you're ignoring it, the more you're repressing it, the bigger of a problem it's becoming. And you're not the one holding it back, it's holding you back. You feel like the more you're not expressing it, the stronger it's becoming on the surface. And maybe something that should be a throwaway idea feels like it has more, there's a concern of the repercussions of it being said. So it's becoming this greater, you're building up a mountain out of a molehill with small ideas, the less you're going through the experience of simply expressing these opinions and worries on a dailies to other people and not worrying about if other people don't agree with you and if you go against the grain. And yeah, sorry, the anxiety is really throwing me off. Apologies about that. Now, I will say that something I'm noticing repeated throughout every single card is this concept of choices. And there's a bit of security thing going on right here. When I talk about choices, this is to do with the choices we make or the lack of choices we're making or feeling overwhelmed by so many choices to be made that it's like totally wrecking our inner sense of like balance and harmony within ourselves. So the less you're saying what you want to say, it just feels like there's all this unfinished business. So you're starting to have too many things going on, too many ideas you want to express. Then you're not really sure where you're going to need to put it. And why didn't you express? It's starting to build and build and build. And it's the main thing. It's like, think of it as every time you say like, hey, I don't like this, or hey, I like this, or hey, I agree with this, or I don't agree with this. You're letting that little monster or animal thing go out, and you have one less thing to worry about. It's out, it's free, it's in the world. But you think it would be scary and you're worried about the repercussions of having expressed it. So you're keeping it caged in, but it's getting worse and building and building. And it looks over here that by keeping quiet, by pulling away, by just ignoring the problem and letting it get worse and worse, that is your version of a security blanket. It feels like the safer option, and unfortunately it's starting to become kind of what's the word, a very strong belief system that's not really rooted in reality. It's becoming like, even though it feels like it's not making you happier, you can't help but still believe in it and make it more and more part of your philosophy and, like I said, your inner belief system. Now, the really cool thing is both of these going on here. So one, oh my God, sorry. You're totally capable of being able to reinvent yourself. And you can do that, as we expressed, through just starting to be aware of your energies. You can do this through your shadow self. Shadow self is like a very witchy term for the parts of yourself. Like, let's say you see somebody flirting with the guy you like and you feel jealous. Anytime there's those type of gut emotions, that is your subconscious. And the idea is to dig deep into why that is in order to overcome it by facing your shadow self, because it's not about ignoring those parts of ourselves. It's about facing them. You will then be able to overcome them. A great little, this is like a side little exercise that's really awesome. A great way to do shadow self type of work or work on your subconscious is you can have a little notebook and you can write like, I feel jealous when this, and then you dig a little deeper and you go, I feel jealous because I feel insecure. Why do you feel insecure? I feel insecure because I feel that they're better than me. Why do you feel they're better than you? And you keep going deeper and deeper and deeper until, I promise you, the deepest version of whatever is bothering you or why you can't express yourself or whatever it is going to be the most simplistic, like, I don't trust myself, I don't love myself. They're usually very, minimal ideas, but they really hit home. And then once you're aware of that, you can work on that. You can go, well, I need to start to trust myself and put out the energy that I trust myself and I trust the world, and so on and so forth. The World card, and why I said it was so positive, is this is this is about a conclusion. So this is great for a multitude of reasons. One, it shows that this anxiety that I'm picking up so intensely and this inability to say what's on your mind, wanting all this jazz going on, looks like it is going to be coming to an end, which is awesome. It's a happy ending. The World upright is like a happy ending. But it's also about the idea that as this is ending, you are going to be going out and expanding your world beyond, like, this has created a sort of tunnel vision for you, and your brain only thinks this is how it is because you're just so often, when we're going through these tough times, we're only pulled into what it's drawing all our attention. And this is saying, like, guess what? Get excited. When this is all gone, you're going to be so pumped and enjoying all the other things besides your own personal little world. You're going to experience new adventures. Often this is a card of travel and new experiences, expanding your world. You can think of it like that. So really positive. But this card, as you notice, she is not quite leaving the nest, so to speak, yet. She is letting us know that we need to kind of focus on this problem, which is mostly the shadow self she's mostly interested in. You need to focus on your subconscious, you need to work on these things. And then the second you kind of start making those effects and moving forward with that, get ready to bloom. Get ready to fly off and soar and have a good time. And I do want to let you know, for reassurance, because this is a common misperception, you do not have to be perfect or be totally in control of your energies and what you're put out there to get what you want. The second you say that to yourself, saying like, I don't have to be perfect to get what I want, trust me, it will come even faster. I'm personally, this is like a side note about me. Whenever I have those little like reminded epiphanies with myself, my spirit guides often send me a lot of like little rewards and positivity, lots of like financial growth I'll often get. So just go into this knowing that as you're making and taking the steps forward, you will be rewarded. You will be flying off. You don't have to have this perfect. That is a lot to expect of anyone. No one's perfect. We're always growing and then fixing it again and da 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 da. So get excited. You have something worth sharing. You are a wonderful person, more in control of their fate than they're aware of. And they've got a bunch of cool stuff to look forward to. So woo, woo, woo. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please feel free to give a like, comment, and subscribe. Either way, have a beautiful day. I cannot wait to see you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2. Let's figure out what you need to hear right now. Your oracle card is Mountain Upright. Your tarot cards are Wheel of Fortune in reverse, 7 of Swords upright, 3 of Wands upright, Queen of Cups in reverse, and 7 of Cups upright. Okay, let me look at this for a second. Okay. All right. Okay, now I understand. As per usual, you know, tarot, when it comes to oracle cards, they are not always the generalization of the spread. Sometimes they take the marker of any other tarot card, but my goodness, me and my spirit guides, we're on the same page. They often throw me oracle cards that seem to be, you could say, the thesis of the spread. So this is wonderful. I have some awesome, good, positive news to throw your way. So I guess we'll get to this in a second because this is more like the solution to the problem. So let's talk here about the Wheel of Fortune reverse. This is talking about a resistance to change. There seems to be a fear situation going around that concept. I can see over here, this is the version of you that would like to, to put it simply, expand your world, progress, move forward in life. You know what you need to do, but that involves different settings. Maybe you have to move, it's uncomfortable. Maybe you're going to college, it's uncomfortable, or you have to go to a different apartment, have a different roommate. Whatever the situation is, there seems to be some sort of change, something big enough that would make you pull away. I can see that you're not kind of like, you want it, you're interested in it, you are totally like, that is what you would like to be, the type of person to just enjoy this, but you kind of seem to be holding back. You pull it away, you take away the parts of you you're not quite ready to let go of. And that's a big thing to take note of here. You're thinking that you can't take this with you, or by letting this go, this is somehow bad or negative. That's the viewpoint I'm seeing going on here, that you feel like it would be bad to have certain things not be the way they were before. Doesn't mean they are, but I see a perspective thing on your part going on here. But this is also something I want you to keep in mind. Now, it doesn't mean the Wheel of Fortune card is, in this case, is talking about you having bad luck. That's what a lot of people use the Wheel of Fortune card as, a version of it's up or down if it has something to do with luck. Because the Wheel of Fortune card is a cycle. It's something letting us know that sometimes things are good, sometimes things are bad, but they can always change in a positive way. They can always, it's just going through the motions of the oceans of life. I didn't mean to rhyme there. And you're so fixated on what could go wrong that you're not aware that it's like, yeah, well, yeah, things can go wrong, but they always end up changing and turning around. Things are meant to go in a cycle, but you're afraid of the cycle in general. Now, this is where the advice starts to come in both, and it gets kind of just repeated here and here in a really awesome light. So the Mountain card says, you're thinking too much about this. You think that if you are moving forward in your journey and there's this huge mountain in your way, you've got to scale it. You've got to chip away at it. It's got to be this big thing because it feels like a big thing. But sometimes the best way to get around these problems or these feelings of feeling stuck or this big change is the easiest route. It's kind of one of those situations when you come in contact with someone that's like, oh, what? You just believe it's going to get better and it's just going to get better? And it's like, yeah, sometimes, yeah, that really is it. Or, oh, what? So I'm just supposed to not control anything, just let things work out the way they're going to work out. It's like, yeah, really, it's supposed to be, yeah, honestly, I know that feels hard to let go. We talk about letting go of control and feeling like you're worried about all these, especially this gets repeated here, this worry of repercussions going on, this fear that something bad's gonna happen. This gets repeated here too, like this worry of like, if I have too many, what if it could go this way? What if it goes that way? But the thing that's really beautiful here is I also see in between these two cards somebody who gains a higher version of themselves, a higher sense of insight. They are a more knowledgeable and spiritual and more adaptable version of themselves than they were before. Suddenly being aware that it's not about it being good or being bad when it comes to the experiences we have in life, but understanding that it is just a wheel in general. Understanding that whether you have this or you let go of these parts of yourself that you're afraid to change or things like physical items, it doesn't really matter. It's not like you're not going to get more swords, you can't keep some of the swords. It's seeing the bigger picture of where you're going and what you'd like to have in life. Now, when we talk about going with the flow and really easy and taking the easier route, which is sometimes hard to hear, but I hope it's more relieving for you to hear, that you can kind of put your hands up and just go with it. But the bigger clue we get over here is with the Queen of Cups. This card is often referred to as something about emotional maturity and like compassion. But for me, the Queen of Cups, especially in the spread, is my go with the flow girl. And more so than the King of Cups. King of Cups, he's doing his thing. He's really focused. He has a lot of this responsibility. She's able to be responsible and get all these things done because she handles things as they come. She isn't in the past. She is in the present. She's right here. But when she is right here, she's able to face things from a perspective of just like, yeah, and so what if it doesn't work out? So what? Like, she's seen enough things, she's experienced enough things. She's so fully aware of, when we talk about the wheel and the concept, the bigger picture, that she's able to handle the tough things in an easier way and get more enjoyment out of any sort of situation. And this is somebody who has great success from this perspective. So the more she relaxes, the more she lets go, the more things work out in her favor. It's not about going, hey, things are tough, deal with it. It's going, things can kind of just work out in your perspective if you take on that perspective and you learn to be like the river that goes around the mountain, takes the easier course, doesn't see this as a problem. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think if there's anything else left to be said. I think that's it. I think I talked about this. Yeah, I think just talking about the options. Yeah. Okay, sorry for that weird jutted stop. I just wanted to make sure I shared every bit of information here. Essentially, this is letting you know it's all going to be fine. I know it might be difficult at first if this doesn't come naturally for you, but start to see the bigger picture. I guess the last thing, I remember the last thing I was going to say. Thank you for that total, blank out for a second moment, being patient with me. But this card, actually in particular, makes me think of this thing I used to say to my friend in college when she would be kind of freaking out. I used to say to her, so she'd be like freaking out, and I'd be like, listen, we are just like specks of dust in the universe. And we would go on this program. I'm sure it probably still exists. I don't remember what it was called, but essentially you could go on this program and go and it would enable you to zoom in and out. And you could see the size comparison next to it'd be like as small as an atom to, you know, a little bacteria to a cockroach, and it would get bigger and bigger, so big that it would go far past humans and trees and buildings, even Earth, even our solar system. It would just keep going and going and going. It was a huge program that showed you size relationship, and it would zoom in and out and show you the differences. And when she was really feeling freaked out, we would sit down and we would just look at this program, and it was that awareness and just seeing how much it kind of doesn't matter, and like you start to relinquish your grip and understand how we're all kind of connected and it all means nothing and everything. It kind of puts you in that vibe in the way that sometimes words seem too flowery to really connect with, that it's what got her back into this mindset of like, yeah, whatever, it's all go with the flow. So I highly recommend looking up that program. I wish I had the name for it to let you know, but maybe you can Google the kind of description I'm saying. Either way, you've got this. It's going to work out in your favor, and use this to your benefit so you can continue to grow in life, because I can see that you really want it. You're open to it. Don't be afraid. You've got this. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please give a like, comment, and subscribe. Have a wonderful day. I will see you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3. Let's find out what you need to hear right now. Your oracle card is Stuck in the Mud Upright. Your tarot card is the Chariot in reverse. Temperance upright. The Lovers upright. Ace of Cups in reverse, and your last card is Four of Cups upright. This is, I think I'm going to pull some more cards for this, because this makes sense, but this is what's really throwing me. Okay, well, let's go into this. So, Stuck in the Mud oracle card. Let's talk about this. This is like the big thing you're going through right now. Does it feel like every time you're trying to move forward, you're not? You keep being pulled back. The more you try, you keep being pulled back to the same position you were to begin with. And the more you're aware of this annoying cycle and lack of progression, the more stuck you feel, the more you feel like you're sinking and feel almost tainted by this, feel almost defined by this. But this is not necessarily a bad thing. We got two things going on here. One, sometimes when we're not moving forward, we're just not meant to be moving forward in that direction. And we're kind of, when I get stuck in the mud card, it's almost like a slight ominous feeling of like, why were you prevented? Sometimes people like to simplify and just be like, oh, I wasn't meant to be this, but sometimes it's like an omen of like something bad could have happened and you were being prevented. It's a good thing you were being prevented from going in that direction. I know it's not fun to not get the thing you want, but trust me, if you did, maybe you wouldn't have been happy in the long run. The second thing is when you're forced and you're prevented from moving forward for whatever reason, you're also forced to observe. It is a time of observation to acknowledge a bunch of things. This is more than just asking the simplified question of like, why can't I move forward? Or, why am I stuck? This is about looking outside yourself. This time period of observation and what it feels like lack of momentum is your momentum. The observation, what you're taking in, is the progression forward. And is very important at this time period. I can see this getting reflected here in the Chariot, though, in reverse. When you're feeling stuck like this, it's starting to make you feel confused of where to go. You're like, cool, not really helpful. I know I'm stuck. And it's making me super confused at where to go in life. And I hate it. And it's frustrating. I don't know where to put my energies. I feel you. And this is not always I'm a very proactive person, so I don't really love telling people this, but you're being advised by tarot and spirit here and here that you're just gonna have to be patient right now. That's just kind of where you're at right now. You kind of just have to be like, I guess this is where I'm at, and kind of get comfortable, relax, and at least stop tiring yourself out and accept that you're not necessarily directionless. But if you just don't focus on going anywhere right now, you don't focus on what you haven't accomplished, and you just kind of like chill out and be like, I guess I'm just have to, it's going to come. Patience means it is going to happen, but I just have to chill out right now. That might give you some sense of peace of mind. But this is where I'm getting a little confused. This is a general reading, so I hadn't expected an outside influence to come through. This is more focused on what you can do for you, but it looks like you are being influenced, and it is the thing that is making you stuck. So over here, the lovers can represent something romantic, but over here it kind of can signify home and family. So it gets a little confusing. There's a bunch of different options here, but it just looks like a general relationship with another human being is causing you to repress your emotions, kind of put them down, hide them away, and it looks like that's how you're sort of stuck. That's what's kind of keeping you having to not move forward, so to speak. And it's definitely causing you to only repress it more, because the more you're having to take care of yourself and defend yourself from this other person by keeping these emotions away, the more you become a little more, I don't want to call anyone out because obviously this is a general, take my words with a grain of salt, maybe cynical. Maybe you feel like you're more and more, when something doesn't work out, you're like, oh, of course, yeah, whatever, just one more thing. And it's creating this like vibe, but the vibe itself and having to repress your emotions from this outside influences is the thing that's keeping you stuck, which is interesting because when you get this, again, this is usually from, like I said, something bad could have happened and in a good way you were prevented. But then this is going on. It's kind of got almost like you were meant to be stuck for it is confusing me. And the part that gets more confusing for me is the Lover's card upright. This is a positive influence negatively affecting you. I don't know why. We're going to pull a few more cards just to understand what's going on. Okay. Knight of Wands in reverse, Three of Wands upright, and Page of Cups upright. See, this is still, tarot sometimes can be really mysterious and literally will just keep repeating to me the same message over and over and over again, because it's like, nope, that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know, no other details. As I can see, this is about you, like, you know how we talked about you wanting to move forward, you wanting to progress in life and stuff like that. This is you wanting to move forward, expand your horizons, all that kind of good jazz. And it looks like an energy that's coming your way is making you feel very burnt out and exhausted, which is preventing you from being able to expand. And it looks like that energy source is, again, from this person. Again, a very positive, sort of emotional, like, hey, I love you, hugs, kisses, which is making me, again, feel like it's a very romantic sort of thing, or at least very above and beyond affectionate than just an experience you're having with like a coworker or a boss that you don't feel more intimately for. And I mean even friendship intimacy wise. But Page of Cups is also a card about somebody who doesn't really fully understand what it means to take on the responsibility of love at times. So that kind of almost feels like a little hint, but let me just pull some more cards just to like see if we can get more of an answer here. Nine of Cups upright. Knight of Cups upright. Yeah, we definitely have a romantic thing going on here. And Three of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, this is so weird. It's like, so this person's coming to you. They've got all this like promise and positivity. They're wishing you the world. They're wishing you the best. They want to tell you how great you are. But for whatever reason, this is like, blocking your pipes. It looks like you have all this potential. You want to go out there, you want to start practicing this potential, implementing it into the things that will then later become something bigger. Think of this as like, oh, I just learned how to make music, but I do need to actually now take the time to make the song and practice making songs, and someone keeps kind of interrupting you and preventing you from making the songs, even though they just want to go out and get a cup of coffee. It's very positive. It's not a negative thing, but for whatever reason, it's slowing you down, and it's almost weirdly like the more love you're getting, the more you're kind of feeling claustrophobically like you need to repress a part of yourself. Really interesting, unique, not a spread I literally ever get, but it seems like it's the thing that you're currently going through. So that's definitely food for thought. It almost, the outcome really is to your own, because Spirit is not telling me how this is going to turn out or how you should handle it. If you need to talk to this person and express to them what's going on, if you need to ditch them, or if honestly the sole answer is just being patient and letting this ride out and work out the way it needs to work out. That could be the solution. But you're just being told, hey, if you were curious why you were stuck, this is why you were stuck. I can't help but wonder, yeah, this feels more romantic, but sometimes people who are family members or people that are close to us they mean well, but they can just be into your personal space a little too much. Maybe interrupting you and not giving you the peace of mind you really need. Or every time you feel like you're moving forward, they just say a little comment and they mean well, but it makes you kind of regress back to old habits you're fighting against. Either way, there's a lot of good intentions here that unfortunately are not working out. You're not moving forward because of this, and you just need to be aware and resolve it in the way you want to resolve it. But either way, at least you have a little bit of awareness now that it's not you. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just fine. You've got the skills, you've got the abilities, all that good jazz, and a good bright future ahead of you. Anyways, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you liked this reading. Either way, I can't wait to see you in the next one, and let's get ready for group number 4. Group number 4, let's find out what you need to hear right now. Your oracle card is Flying. I never get this card. Sorry, I got excited. Look at the cool designs on the horse. Or unicorn? Yeah, it's a unicorn. Oh, cool. Sorry, anyways, Flying Upright. Sorry, I get pumped when I get oracle cards I don't get often. Your tarot cards are, which as you can see, it goes beautifully with my tarot cards. Your tarot cards are 3 of Cups in reverse, the Tower in reverse, the Hermit in reverse, the Hierophant in reverse, and the King of Pentacles upright. Or so the Hierophant upright and the King of Pentacles upright. Huh. Hold on, I have no idea what's going on here. Oh, Spirit's speaking up. Something about... Are you... Are you having a little bit too much fun? This can refer to hardcore partying, but this could be like spending too much time having fun, because we're living in a day and age where sometimes people's idea of having too much fun is like being on their phone watching too many YouTube videos. We're getting a bit meta here. But Spirit's making me look at this right away. Give me a second to look at this. Oh, okay, now the Flying card is like comically on the nose. Okay, so let's get into all this. This is the potential and what you can totally have, but where your mind is at, where you need to go in order to receive this potential, because this is about a financial sort of situation, a financial sense of success. So let's start off here. This talks about the idea of, we'll just say, too much fun, whatever you define that as. And it looks like it's the type of thing that is negatively distracting and preventing you from being able to have think of the flying card as getting all the success you could ever want. And same thing with King of Pentacles. This is somebody who has lots of abundance. They're not only financially successful, but they're very like in control of their money. They made it happen. They know where it goes. They choose who they give it out to. It's a very like confident, like, yeah, I got my money kind of vibe. And both of them are like, no, you're not going to find it here. This is where your attention is. It's not there. Sorry, that's not where, you're not going to get this if you're here. So it looks like you're being asked to, with the Tower card, go through a deep personal transformation. Both of these cards talk about having to look inwards, which, Spirit sometimes is very like, blunt and I have to curb it. They're asking you to kind of look inside and ask, why is this where your attention goes? Why are you kind of overdoing it? Why are you spending too much time doing this? In order to be the answer to help you overcome that. It doesn't mean you can't have fun ever, but there's something deeper going on here that you need to kind of figure out why and focus on that. And with the Tower card, it talks about not only deep personal transformation, but it's a really positive card saying, if you feel like you often gravitate towards being distracted or the hardcore partying, as we described, too much fun or whatever, this is going to be something that is going to be finally coming to an end. This is a problem that you're kind of somewhat aware of, and it's been the thing that's prevented you from doing other things, and that's now going to be over, thankfully, as you work on the reasons why we talked about before, like looking inwards to figure that out. That same concept gets repeated over here with the Hermit card in reverse, but this is somebody who has taken some time, gone in their cave, as the hermit has expressed, figured some stuff out, and is now ready to move forward. So it doesn't look like it's going to take a very long time. It's just some time you need to look at yourself and figure out and go out into the world with that information. Again, I always need to make this clear because a lot of people think that you have to be perfect in order to get everything you want, or tarot seems very serious sometimes, way more serious than it needs to be, when in fact you can just take some time and be like, oh, maybe I really want this more than I want to hang out and do these type of things all the time. And that's, you can move forward with that information, not being completely perfect, just, a better understanding of who you are and your intentions and goals in life. And so it looks like that's moving forward and taking that information and just straight up, like, the Hierophant could not be more kind of on the nose of just being like, you need to take time to build your formal education in order to receive the kind of income you would like to have. So if you're currently in college and this speaks to you, you're going to need to pull a little bit away from the parties right now and give more time to your studies. If you're right now trying to be like, oh, I don't know where to put my attention, you're being told schools where it's at for you to get the things that you want, and so you kind of have to hit your nose to the pavement, which is why, again, this solution, the best way I can express all of this to give a little more comfort and not to come across so bluntly, is this is not a negative thing, having fun, but you're going to need to find some balance in order to have the attention to do the hard kind of work it takes in order to receive this success. Okay? But how do you overcome something that's it's just too good? It's, why would I do this? This is boring. This is better. These deep personal questions can be the motivating catalyst that help you when you have moments of wanting to go back to this. You can reflect on these, epiphanies you had and be like, oh, you know what? I do want this more, more than I want necessarily just indulging in this. And I'm aware that maybe I indulge a little too much. So I'm going to pull back. Now, two different things are going on here after you have, you take some time, you're hitting the books, it's letting you know to like focus more on that with not only the confirmation and the positivity of like, yeah, you've got a super financially successful, bright future ahead of you. Like, here's your motivation and your confirmation that that's going to be the case. But in addition to the King of Pentacles, all the positive stuff I said about before, the Flying card is a combination of two different things going on. They're pretty much saying the same thing, but on one hand, it talks about somebody who's worked really hard and pushed forward and is now finally receiving all of the bounties of all the hard work they did. But this is also somebody who's received the hard work because, and we talk about the idea of like epiphanies that give you motivation, things to avoid. This is somebody who's literally, when they're flying over the maze, they are flying over the things that could have distracted them. They are able to have a bird's eye perspective on things that seem like obstacles or even opportunities that could be fun, but you were aware that maybe you wanted to keep your eye on the prize more. But this person is able to not only soar above it, both like not let it get them down, but see the bigger picture that they are just, it's kind of like a spiritual thing. Like you're able to go, oh, look at all these little things that were in my way. I'm not going to see minor inconveniences or things I wish I could have done, like a FOMO type of feeling, like a fear of missing out type of situation, that something isn't like you don't make it a bigger deal because you're like, oh yeah, it was just one small pebble in like a river of rocks. Do these metaphors make sense? I sound like a crazy person when I just say stuff that comes off the top of my head in that way. But the point is, this person is able to go, yeah, I could have fun, but I see the bigger picture. Oh, well, you know, it's not that big of a deal in the long run. I'm able to spiritually understand that. Oh, but look at all this hard work. I've worked hard and now I'm receiving efforts for my hard work. So it's just a little bit of redirecting, a little bit of motivation in there, a little bit of clear direction, the confirmation of all this positive future success. But overall, just a little loving nudge from the universe to go, hey, guess what? Focus over here and you can get everything you want. So I hope that was helpful for you. And if you did enjoy it, please consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe. Either way, I can't wait to see you in the next one. Have a lovely day. Bye.